Isn't he sexy? So, good God. Wow. Do you ever one of those days where you're really excited because you look in your underwear drawer and you didn't think you had any underwear, but then you did? And you step outside to go to work because you have to take a keg back to the sponsor and you realize that your van is not at your house, and so you have to get on a grandpa bike and ride 3 miles and sweat through your underwear that is clean. And then the keg is full, so you have to literally pour beer for 15 minutes into the ground. You know what I'm talking about. Baker's Island. All right. We got this. My first year in Singapore was exciting. I didn't want to... I feel like Joe in the background is going, I knew that would happen. I knew that would happen. Is that what you're doing, Joe? Yeah. Okay, I knew that would happen. Does it sound good? Where were we? Okay, here we go. Okay. My first year in Singapore was exciting. I didn't want to leave my old high school behind, but then again, that wasn't all that popular anyway. I had a chance to start over fresh, plus I was a sophomore now, and my idiotic freshman days were behind me. I was especially excited about interim semester. It happened in January each year. For 2 weeks, you got to get out of school and go on a mini study abroad. Selection was, of course, biased. It was based on seniority. The seniors got the best trips. Being a sophomore, I resigned myself for the leftovers, but still, I was excited. I would be going to Baker's Island, a small island off the coast of Malaysia. Of course, that isn't the island's real name, but Jim Baker, the track coach and U.S. history teacher, he owned a little piece of that island, so that's how we all knew it. It wasn't glamorous, there wasn't any running water, but at least there was ocean and beach and jungle, and there was me, a lone sophomore, amidst more freshmen than I cared to be with. I even got my picture in the yearbook. There I was, sitting on the ground, using a rock to try to break open a coconut to no avail. I thought I was quite clever using the rock like a tool, but was dismayed when the caption said, "Intelligent freshman attempts to open a coconut with a rock." The sarcasm was not lost on me. Yes, I looked like a dumb little monkey smashing away at a coconut, but that really wasn't what upset me. I was a sophomore, not a freshman. Thank you very much. Breaking open coconuts with rocks was the least of my exploits on that trip. I best remember the events surrounding an overnight trip to another part of the island. We set out on a trek through the jungle to the far side of the island one afternoon. The beach there was nice, so I heard, good swimming. Plus there were lots of those cool little shells to harvest and make necklaces. 15-year-old me was into making necklaces out of shells, so get over it. We arrived at our destination and set up camp. Dinner that night consisted of local fare, fire-roasted hot dogs and marshmallows. Exotic, I know. As the sun set, I was in heaven. The sun cast its waning light, a beautiful pink hue, across the sparsely clouded sky. I sat near the shore, an idyllic scene. This, my friend, this is heaven. This is interim semester, and it is every bit as glorious as I imagined. We grouped around the fire and listened to Mr. Baker and Mr. Dodge recount European history by memory. And before long, I was ready to call it a night. I headed over to my assigned tent and stepped in. My tent mates were already asleep and had taken the prime sleeping areas for themselves. I was stuck with the suffocating middle, wedged between them, but my tired mind forgave them this trespass and I slipped into peaceful sleep. Later, my eyes opened lazily. A dull, pre-dawn light struggled to illuminate the interior of the tent. I was on vacation. I had gone to bed late. It was far too early to be awake. My sleep-addled brain was confused. Why was I drifting towards wakefulness? My eyes drifted about the tent, first toward my right, No, nothing going on over there. Some nameless freshman boy continued sleeping unmolested by whatever it was that had me on the brink of waking. Then to my left, nothing alarming there either. Another nameless slumbering freshman. Shifted my weight a little, and then I felt it. I froze. A wave of terror shot up my spine. My eyes snapped wide open. I may have even gasped. I was fully awake now. No, I was in full panic mode. My mind, sluggish and murky, only a split second before, was now fully engaged. My eyes darted around frantically. I suppressed the growing urge to scream out. If I was lucky, it would only be the two freshmen sleeping on either side of me, wrapped in their thin blankets. And if I was unlucky, no, I mustn't think of that. If more tents were alerted, it would be terrible. At that moment, I appreciated the full magnitude of my predicament. I had shit my pants in my sleep. And it wasn't proper shit. This was the thin, watery stuff. I could feel it sloshing against my cheeks and upper thigh, even with like a minimal motion. My thoughts immediately turned to escape. How was I going to extricate myself from the situation without a single soul discovering me or the foul deed pulled in my boxer briefs? I checked to my right, then left, still no signs of stirring. I gently tossed the light blanket off, being extra careful to keep my knees up so the runny fecal matter didn't come spilling out down my legs. Just to be sure, I reached down and drew up my water-resistant running shorts, which, thank the Lord, I had worn over my boxers that night, around my thighs and with a vice-like grip sealed off all potential exits. There would be no shit streaming down my legs, not tonight. I began an awkward crab walk toward the tent door and slowly unzipped the flap. The zipper didn't make a sound. I must have unzipped it tooth by tooth. Wait, what was that? I checked the tent again. No false alarm. They're still sleeping. I got out of the tent and slowly stood. Yep, ran down my leg a little. But my running short seal remained intact. I admit I was pretty pleased with my brilliance, but that feeling was short-lived. I had business to attend to. I quickly come to terms with the fate of my boxers and shorts. There was no salvaging them. I broke into a weird run. Still clutching the bundle of running shorts at my side to keep the shit-proof seal intact, I made it 50 yards to the tree line. And immediately took off my soiled clothing. I tossed it unceremoniously into the woods. Hopefully, no one would discover that. I'm now completely naked. I turn around. Directly ahead of me is the ocean, and to my right are over a dozen tents. And there I stand, fully exposed and in the open. Please, 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 don't be awake. But I have a new problem on my hands, literally, or rather, trickling down my legs. And it needs to get cleaned off right now. I make a beeline for the shore. I quietly splash through the lapping waves until I'm at mid-thigh. I then turn, facing the tents, which they're over here now. Tents. Where are we? Facing the tents, my gaze locked, waiting for any signs of movement, and then I squat. I take handfuls of seawater and splash my ass. My ass. Anyway, my legs, over and over and over again, squatting and splashing and cleaning myself like a cat licking its genitals clean. Side note, if I could do that. Alright, so, but nowhere near as nonchalant as a cat. After what feels like an eternity, I decide my hindquarters are clean and clear. I furtively exit the ocean. My gaze, mind you, is locked on those tents. I don't look away even for a second. The gentle breeze caresses my naked body. Feels quite nice now that I think about it. But not that nice. The last thing I need is an erection. Might have helped.